All right, good afternoon. It is 12:01 Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to get into the midday pulse, October 1st, 2021. All right, so this is the beginning of Q4, the first day. So the markets have been very robust this morning, very robust, very different than yesterday's action. So, wow, a lot of opportunities this morning. Still in some trades, just managing those trades. But basically, let's just dive into it. So this morning, basically, technically, what are we looking at? We're looking at this 4,300 level on the XPX because we kind of flirted with that this morning and kind of went. But we needed to come up a little bit. I don't think it was going to sell off tremendously, but basically, yeah. So let's dive in. Couple things here. So XPX this morning, again, just short-term trades using the 15-minute, 50-minute moving average and the 15-minute time frame. So yesterday at the close, we had numerous opportunities to get into it. A short position, obviously, yesterday. This was after lunch. That was a nice trade that we did. This morning, it was just about managing the position. We were looking for it to come back up, but the price action was acting very, very different. It tried to go, but it really couldn't go this morning, and we sold off a little bit. So we're pretty far off from the 50. Um, so basically, we are going to head back. So we took out these lows from these highs from yesterday. So this 43.30 was an area that we were looking at that we tried to break this morning, and we broke that. Just barely. Are we going to hold that? I'm not sure. Can it go up? So I'm looking at this 43, 42, and then there's another mark here of yesterday's highs. Not yesterday's highs, but this pivot area that we sold off on, which is 43.50. 43.52 to be exact. But basically, that is going to be a key area to understand if are we going to rally? Is this real or not? But I would be very, very cautious until we break that to get into your long positions, especially for a longer term. If it's a short term trade, absolutely. But long term, I'm looking to short this stock or go into puts right in here. So I'm going to see how this right in here, actually 43.43 to see how it reacts there. Looking for the MACDs to come back up. It's telling me that strength is going up. Looking for a zero bounce, 50-day bounce, possibly that would be a great entry. Now, if we get into those trades, the next thing you have to worry about is it going to continue down, form a double bottom, or is it going to form a higher low, right? So higher low and then go back up. But basically, where are the bears? The bears are going to be here in this level. This is where they took a short position there. So if we go beyond these levels, it could pop because it could be a bear trap. So just things to consider. Nasdaq. Nasdaq, same type of thing. Let's see if we can get the MACDs. MACDs, we had a huge sell off this morning. There's 14,560 broke. Basically, same type of thing. Are we going to go back up? So tech has been sold off pretty hard, really, really hard. Again, I made a video last night about this. So there's still a lot of unknowns. The market doesn't like the unknowns, and it's pricing it in right now. Um, so tech with the higher interest rates, the Fed already mentioned they're going to start tapering. I mean, they're not going to start buying. So who's going to hold this market up? Basically, key levels to watch here is 14,560. We're bouncing. The levels that I put into place to be alerted was 14,840 and again 14.9. I don't think until these levels get taken out that tech is going to look bullish. We might get some pops, but are the pops going to hold? So keep that in mind. I'm also looking at this 50-day moving average around 14,758. Again, Russell much stronger than all of them. We broke above the 50, but again, this was a key level that I'm looking at 22.26. We sold off right at lunch, so this is the morning move, right? This is the morning move. So the morning move, we actually had a downward move and an upward move. All right, so this is going into lunch. So I think at lunchtime, this move is probably going to stop for a second, kind of hang out here. We'll see what the move does after lunch, and I think usually when a market has sold off this much, you're going to have to look at, it's not going to be power hour. It's not going to be the 3 o'clock. It's going to be 2 o'clock. I think investors are going to want to get ahead of that power hour and make a move before that. So you have to stay frosty today and look at that 2 o'clock hour Eastern Standard Time. So again, but yeah, just keep in mind if we take these out, then we're going to go higher. This is where the bears are at, right? And again, if it can hold the 50, so we're right there. Next level up on the Russell is yesterday's highs of 2239, 2240. As you can tell, the Nasdaq, I have those already in. So this is going to be 14,887 on the Nasdaq, and the XPX has this key area 4385. It's pretty hard. Maybe I won 2 days of that. Okay, but we're at the 50. So this is a pivotal moment for the Russell. You know, we can take a trade downwards or upward, but we need to make sure that the other two indices go along with us. Look at the banks too. Um, okay, so let's dive in. We have a market posture. So we have pretty much in a short term, everything's rallying up to the 50. So again, Google had a monster upgrade this morning. And again, you could have taken this trade if you knew what to look for, but basically we opened up higher on the monster upgrade, held the 50. So as this went up, this had a nice, we had a nice trade here. I think we bought the 2720s, got those for $2, and those went up to $5. So that was a nice trade. But basically today's expiration. But if you knew what to look for, you wanted to wait for the markets to rally. And when we turned around here and the MACD's turn, we knew that these were about to go as well. So that was the indication. If you ask me, Angel, how did you know? Is we know, remember, all roads lead back to the 50. We were overextended here and we needed to come back at some moment of time. And if you know what to look for with the upgrade, this rallied. Again, this is not something I'm trying to hold on long term. This is a very short term trade, but this is where the opportunities lie. The other one, so that's Google. So if Google can go, if the markets turn around, if we start breaking this, start breaking these right here on the XPX, if we break 4350, Google's probably going to run. If the Nasdaq takes out 14,841 or even the 50, you'll see Google run. Next level up on Google will be this 2734, and then above that is 2753. So looks good. You have a little flag pattern here. This is typical for a move after lunch. But just keep in mind, Google likes to move on Fridays, especially Friday for some reason. All right, so there's Google. Let's go look at Amazon. Amazon, another monster upgrade, but we're very similar to what the Nasdaq is doing. We sold off at the open. We tried to rally, sold off at the 50. As you can tell, we had a little fake out here for us on the rally. And this is a way to avoid the fake outs. Is you wanted to make sure it broke 33.13. Very different, but it went. So this was a divergence, right? So this was going up, and the Nasdaq went where down. So and XPX went down. So if these go down, this is not going to go up. So this was a fake out here. So just keep that in mind. But basically, same type of thing as the Nasdaq. Once the Nasdaq flipped monster upgrade, this thing went up, but it's probably going to go up to the 50. There's still a lot of selling pressure on Google. I will want to see a break of the 50. So I think if I'm sorry, Amazon, not Google. I always do that. But basically, let's wait for Nasdaq and the XPX to take out these levels, and I think probably Amazon should follow. But we're still pretty bearish. There's a lot of selling pressure here. Look to see for Amazon to take out 32.86. Next level up is about 33.13. There's a lot of supply right in here. Okay. Tesla. Tesla is just the one that refuses to go with the pressure on the indices. Of course, it finally went. It just tried to go. But basically today, it sold off, obviously, because there was a lot of fear. And basically we sold off. So, but this was one when these rallied back up, this rallied back up. Now 780 is a pretty big area for Tesla. Remember, these guys are coming out with numbers, but they're not going to come out with numbers today. There is a possibility of maybe an email being sent by Elon to the employees, but that hasn't been leaked. And also, maybe Monday this weekend. So again, just hang in there. It rallied today from 762. If you know the areas, you know what to look for. 762 is another key area. Next area was 780. 780 is going to be next level is going to be this area up here around 790, 93. Okay, so that's Tesla, but holding pretty strong. It's near the highs. So if the overall markets turn and Tesla comes out with some good numbers, then pretty much it's going to go high. Pretty interesting. There was this GM got approved for automated taxis in San Francisco. It's just funny how Tesla was not approved for that when they're the leaders in that space. All right, ISRG tried to go. ISRG tried to go. It's just a lot of selling pressure here. So we saw selling pressure. I thought it was going to bounce today, but with the overall market selling off, it again doesn't matter how good your stock is, it's going to drag it down. So again, went down, overextended, 976. It likes to hang around to the 1,000 area, so it actually beelined it to the 50. Again, I think we're at the mercy of the overall markets. Let's see what these guys do, right? Because if they are selling equities and their overall positions, then it's going to drag on everything. All right. So ISRG, what are we looking for? We're looking for a break above here. MACDs are going back up. Next level here is 1006. However, let's look at the bottom side. If the overall markets turn, you also have a short position here, a bounce off of 996. If this goes higher, bounce off of 0. This goes higher, bounce up to 50. Then you can go into a nice little put position there, make some money. Again, Tesla as well. Remember, we have some pressure here at 780. Where can it go? It also can go right back down to 762. So know both opportunities both ways. You can make a lot of money that way. Also Amazon. So let's not be super bullish. Let's be bearish. The overall markets they have to break some things here. But if it doesn't and we start selling off, and again, that 2 o'clock hour, there's going to be a lot of opportunities and a lot of different equities. And these are a few. So keep that in mind. All right, Chipotle. Chipotle here, solding off the highs, man. They're taking this one down with it. The one thing I looked at Chipotle, which I like, Chipotle is basically 789. I'm looking to maybe possibly do an earnings play on this one. Just basically maybe looking at some calls for earnings. I think earnings is October 21st. So if we can get out of the money calls, maybe some cheap calls as it comes down. Now, it is a possibility, it's a risk reward. If the earnings are not good, it's probably going to go down. But if they are good, you can get some cheap options out of the money. They're going to turn to maybe 5x, maybe 8x really quickly. This has a potential to do that. All right. So that's why that's what we have so far. Let's look at should we look at Apple? Okay, this was Apple. Let's look at Apple. Apple's right here. And we talked about Apple. Apple doesn't move as much as the other ones, so we're going to look at Apple from a different perspective because a lot of the funds like Apple. So Apple, we talked about Apple, and let me look at the dailies here. But Apple, again, we set up this. If you've been following me, dead cat bounce. It sold off just like the indices. It's holding this 149. It took out this area here just like the rest of the market. It's still coming down. It's trying to form a base. There is some demand at this 139 area, but again, it is downtrending. We're below the 50, so keep that in mind. We probably need to rally at some moment. As you can tell on the 15-minute chart, we're still going down. We try to break above during the pre-market, but we sold off. Can it get above this 141? If we're looking at a longer time frame here on the hourlies, I like trading hourlies on Apple. Just it's clear and basically again, we need to break that 141, 142 area. So again, MACDs are still going. It wants to turn. It looks like it wants to turn right here. If we can go positive, again, we're at the mercy of what the overall indices are going to do. This morning, this is how I traded the. Some people ask me, how do you trade the XPX? When I look at XPX, I'm looking at it from various angles. I usually trade the 15 minutes time frame, as you can tell, and I look at the hourlies and look at the 1 minutes. I don't take the 1 minutes unless it's a scalping day. Then I'll take the one. Like right now, it'd be a good scalp because we're seeing weakness. That we know the level's 431. It's probably going to go down. MACDs are on the upper side. It's probably going to go lower. How low can it go? I mean, these are going to be short scalps, right? But anyway, there's a lot of selling pressure. And we're close to the 50 here on the 15-minute chart. So this is where I like to see, and we're still going higher. I would like to see the MACDs turn a little bit more. So this is probably going to come back up. And after lunch hour, I'll probably be setting this one up, either calls or puts. But more likely, I'm seeing a lot of selling pressure here. On the hourlies, we have this hammer. So again, supply, 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 supply. If we bounce over here and go lower, this can be a nice low trade to 42.87, right? From 43.25. So just this is how I look at it, but I'm always looking at the market. All right, let's look at that. We have that. We have Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin actually rallied. There's a lot of news about Coinbase. Robinhood just announced that they have their wallets, so that's interesting news. Coinbase, you can trade Shiba, and again, we looked at this from I guess my EWAP left, but basically it was an EWAP right here. Got taken out in the 200-day moving average. It's somewhere in here, but this is the daily. But we had a nice bounce at 40. Bitcoin is pretty easy. The levels are pretty simple. We're going to see what it does at this $48,000 area, because that is another area that we see a lot of supply in. But ultimately, we broke the 50, which is huge. Let's see if we can hold that now. So, but 40,000 was the area that you would add positions. MicroStrategy's up because Bitcoin is up, right? So this was another one, broke 600. And, the only thing with MicroStrategy is Bitcoin moves after market. So, I mean, Bitcoin moves all around. MicroStrategy, you have to trade it during the market hours. So you kind of have to take a guess where Bitcoin is going to go. And, but if you guessed it was going to go up, then you would have made a killing on MicroStrategies. All right. Ethereum's up as well. So let's look at Ethereum. Let's change the time frame there. And Ethereum, again, so at the 50, let's see what happens there. But pretty much looks like the MACDs are turning. Let's see if we can turn and break the 50. Same here. MACDs are turning. Maybe it's time for Bitcoin to start getting higher. All right. That's what we have so far. And that's it, guys. And whew, what a day and exciting. All right, go get it and look for that 2 o'clock hour today. All right, take care. We'll see you Monday.